Just before you get into this video properly, I'm just finishing off the edit for it now, and it is a little bit longer than my usual videos. However, it is packed full of information about the basics of Premiere Pro because Sam Holland has very kindly given up some time and gone into depth and real detail about these basics. So I didn't want to dilute it. I wanted to keep as much information in there as I possibly could. So hopefully it helps out if you're learning the basics of Premiere Pro like myself, because I know nothing about Premiere Pro. But yeah, hopefully it helps out. Enjoy the video. For the vast majority of time since I've been making videos, I've edited inside Final Cut Pro. Now, I have used a MacBook for as long as I can remember now, which is why I think I naturally gravitated towards using Final Cut Pro when I was looking for some video editing software all of those years ago. There are, however, loads of different video editing softwares out there, with Adobe Premiere Pro probably being the most popular. Now, I'm really interested in learning a little bit about Premiere Pro because it gets spoken about all the time as being industry standard, and it's usually one of the first ones that people talk about when you talk about making videos and the software that people use. However, I know literally nothing about it, and when I say nothing, I mean literally nothing. Not one bit. But since I make so many videos, I thought I probably should at least know just the very basics of how Premiere Pro works. Now, when it comes to Final Cut Pro, it's almost like second nature to me because I've used it for that long and I've got all my keyboard shortcuts set up exactly the way I like them. So when it comes to editing videos, I can fly through my footage and get the finished project much quicker than I used to be able to. But when I think about learning how to use Premiere Pro, I literally have zero idea of how it works. So it's gonna take me a hell of a lot longer to edit inside Premiere than Final Cut because I'm used to Final Cut. And I know that there are many other people in the same boat as me when it comes to this. So what I thought I would do in this video is ask for a little bit of help from someone I know that has used Premiere Pro a lot, so that both you and I can learn the basics of Premiere Pro much quicker and get editing in there straight away. And that someone who has offered to help is Sam Holland. Now, you might be aware of who Sam Holland is. He has his own YouTube channel which is based all around improving your videography skills and also talking about loads of incredible camera gear as well. So Sam has very kindly agreed to give up a little bit of his time to help out with this video, which is massively appreciated. So the basics of Premiere Pro, let's get into it.
Right, mate, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's really daunting when you're switching programs because you're so used to the one you've been using for years, and then looking at another one just blows your mind. So more than happy to help, and sometimes all you need is just somebody to coach you through it. So here we go.
Thank you very much for helping out with this video, Sam. I really do appreciate it. The first thing I'd like to know is about organization and importing footage into Premiere Pro. Now, when I use Final Cut Pro, I use the Finder application. So I set everything up on an external drive and I import all my footage into different folders. So if we take this project, for example, I have Premiere project with Sam and I have our separate parts separated into separated files. I haven't yet imported mine because I'm recording it right now, but all of yours are there, and I would also separate it out into different cameras that I've used as well.
So the way I like to organize my footage is I'll make a project folder and I'll put everything within that. So I've made a template here, it's called a Premiere Pro folder template, and within there I've got all the folders that I would need to start a project. So I've got my project folder, which is where my project lives. I've got a footage folder and I organize that into different days and different cameras that I use. I will then duplicate this. For example, if I'm going to be working on a new project with Scott, that will copy that entire folder structure over to this new folder. Now everything will be the same. So then what I'll do is I will give this a name and I'll call it Scott Premiere Video, for example. So going into my project, I'll also rename this now. So Scott Premiere Video. I forgot what I called it. So then that's when I would open the project. So I'm going to open Premiere Pro. Right then, so we've got I mean, it's not a similar layout to Final Cut Pro, but almost. The most important thing here, while we're talking about organization and file management and project imports and folders and stuff, is this bit here. Now, I've set this up already. And when I was talking about a project folder and project template, this is what I've done. So I've already made folders within this project window. So I've got footage, music. I don't want to blow your mind with it too much at the moment, but it's basically all the folders are there and ready to go. And you can just easily make them by clicking this new bin. They're called bins, and then just give it a name. So I'm going to drag some footage in. But what I really like about Premiere Pro is you can drag in your footage within folders. So if I've got a folder with footage in with this Lumix S5, for example, I can drag that entire folder in, and the files will go in within that folder. So you don't have to make your own folder, it's already there. And then basically you just drag that into your timeline and you're away. I just love how you can customize Premiere Pro. It's amazing. There's nothing like it. I love it. I hope that's answered that question.
Having seen everything you've gone through there, I think I do actually prefer the organization inside Premiere. It just seems to work a lot better. Moving on to the next question I have though, and that is keyboard shortcuts. So I really like my keyboard shortcuts inside Final Cut Pro, and I have the number keys 1, 2, 3 along the top of my keyboard as to all of my blade tools. So number 1, for example, if I show you here, I've imported a short clip, and number 1 will cut off the whole left side of the clip. Number 2 will just cut straight down the middle of the clip, and number 3 will cut off the right side of a clip. So that speeds up the whole editing process because I haven't got to go in and select the blade tool. Is there a way of doing similar things inside Premiere Pro and also using because the Final Cut Pro has the magnetic timeline, is there a similar sort of feature inside Premiere Pro?
So the timeline within Premiere Pro works slightly differently to the timeline within Final Cut Pro. In fact, it's totally different, but you can get a similar workflow, so don't worry. In Premiere Pro, everything's laid out in tracks above each other, which I really like, especially on the audio channels, because sometimes you want to group sound effects or musics, and you can stack things on top of each other. And for example, I could duplicate this just to show you, and you can actually put it anywhere you want. I could put this above there because I might want to save something for later, and I just might want to stick it out of the way, which I really like. So it doesn't kind of like magnetize anywhere, which I like. But you can get it to snap to grid somehow. I think it's that, yeah, snap to timeline. So if I want to bunch this right up close to that, it will magnetize to that. Moving on to the keyboard shortcuts. Click on the Premiere Pro at the top and then go to keyboard shortcuts. I'm just going to show you the ones that you asked about, because I could go on forever about these and they're amazing. I think you said you had yours set up for keys 1, 2 and 3. I've got mine set up for something else, but you can do it however you want. The ones you want is ripple trim. All you got to do is type it in here, ripple trim, and the first one is ripple trim previous edit to playhead. So that's kind of chopping the left off. And all you would do is drag that over to you, number 1 for example, if you want to use that, but I've dragged it over to Q. Then ripple trim next edit to playhead I've got as W, and then I've got add edit on Z, and then I've got ripple delete, that's important, that's on X. So what you used to have to do, and probably what a lot of people do when they first start out, is press C for the blade tool, chop it, then press V again for your normal tool, select that bit, delete it, then move it up, and that just takes forever. So what you want to know, Scott, is can you just do it like you can in Final Cut Pro where you chop the end off? Yes, you can. Ripple edit to playhead, I've got set up for Q. If you've got that on 1, that's fine. So if I want it to chop all of that bit off there, I press Q. If I want to do the same on the right hand side, it's ripple edit, I've got it set to W, it just chops the end off. Then we can make a cut by pressing add edit, which I've got set to Z. Add another edit here to cut this section out, and then just backspace, that deletes that bit. But as you can see, there's a gap. Sometimes you want that if you want a pause between sections, but we want those 2 clips to magnetize. So we'll select the middle clip, and then it's ripple delete, and that will delete the bit and then bunch the clips together nice and easily like that. Job done.
That is absolutely brilliant. So it seems you can almost have the same features in a workaround way, because I think what's confused me in the past is the different names with the ripple delete and ripple edit. But now that you've explained it so clearly, that all makes complete sense. Now moving on, I just want to ask about adjustment layers and color grading. So inside Final Cut Pro, I have these adjustment layers. I have a base correction and also a look grade. Now what I tend to do is I sometimes use correction LUTs, and if I film in log, which I am right now for example, I will import that correction LUT onto the base correction. So I will just type in LUT into the effects tab, drag custom LUT on there, and then select which LUT I would like to use out of my S-Log2 Phantom LUTs. Now I'm not going to put it on because you've already color graded your clip. However, that is exactly how I would use that, and then I would make individual adjustments to that base correction, and then on top of that I would do the same again and add in one of my look grades. So I have, for example, some Peter McKinnon ones here as well, and I've also got some presets that I've made as well. And this makes it nice and quick when I'm doing my color corrections and grading inside Final Cut Pro, because I can drag those adjustment layers across all of my footage and separate it out into different clips and make my individual adjustments as needed. Is there a way of doing something similar inside Premiere Pro?
Adjustment layers, nice and easy. You just go to the bottom here, bottom left, where your project window is, and then add new item, and you can select a bunch of different items. Adjustment layer, so that will create this adjustment layer within here, and then you just drag it over onto one of the tracks wherever you like. Then all you do is add any of your color adjustments to this adjustment layer, and it affects the clip underneath. I like it because you can obviously turn it on and off. So if I've made an adjustment here and I want to see what it looks like before and after, let's just do a bit of that, shall we? This isn't how I would color grade something, but just to show you, I can then press this little I and it will turn off on that adjustment layer, so you can see before and after basically. So when it comes to color grading, there's a few, there's a million ways you can do it really, but there's Lumetri color. So if you click on Lumetri color, if you go on basic correction, you can add a LUT here. So there's some built-in ones, or you can browse for your own. But I would recommend going on the creative tab underneath Lumetri color, then selecting your LUT, because what you can do then is dial in the intensity of that LUT. So you've got more control over the way it looks then. That's what I would do. So then you can carry on and make all your other adjustments as you would normally. That
is absolutely incredible. And now that you've started to explain these features nice and simply and in detail, you can see how different these pieces of software are, but also how similar they are as well. And once you figure them out, you can start to gain momentum with them and start to pick things up nice and quickly and get quicker at editing videos in each piece of software. So let's talk about keyframes. So I really like keyframes. I use these a lot inside Final Cut Pro. They're incredibly easy. So if you select a clip, you can use your inspector over here on the right hand side and select different keyframes using these little yellow triangles, diamonds. So for example, if I wanted to add in a little zoom, I could start here where the playhead is, click the scale keyframe and select let's go there so it's nice and quick. Select there and just drag the scale, and now as we click play,
another one just below,
we get a nice zoom in using keyframes. How do you do this inside Premiere Pro?
Keyframes, nice and easy. Select the footage you want to adjust, go up here to Effect Controls, and then it brings up your position, your scale, your rotation, all of that stuff, anything you need. In order to add, let's say I want to zoom in at a certain point, to add a keyframe, you click this little stopwatch icon. Let's do it on the scale. I want to zoom in there to there, add another keyframe, which is that, and then change the scale. So then if I wind back and press play, you'll see when it gets to the keyframes that it will start to zoom in. There we go. So that's how easy it is to create keyframes. You can even then select these keyframes, right click, and then change the style of how it moves. So this time it will do a nice smooth movement rather than just going like that. So it will go smooth from the in and out points. Love it. I've missed Premiere Pro sometimes. Not when it comes to exporting and rendering and stuff like that.
Now I just have one final question, and that is about presets. So inside Final Cut Pro, it is incredibly easy to make your presets. You can change any of the features that you want to. So let's make some random color adjustments. We're gonna just whack up the saturation, and maybe we'll just go all out, we'll drag down the exposure. But that's obviously not how we would do this, but say you wanted to save that, you click Save Effect Preset, type in the name, so just test, and you can choose where you want to save it, create a new category, and save it exactly as you want, and choose the different features that you have set. So for example, we're using the color board, choose the different ones, and they will all be saved into that preset, and they are available in this effects tab down at the bottom. How do you do this inside Premiere Pro?
So then when it comes to creating and saving presets, nice and easy. You basically make all your adjustments. I'm gonna just chuck this one in here that I've made already. Let's say I've made all my color adjustments and I've got my image looking the way I want it. And this is the same with audio, by the way. So you go over to the effects controls, you click on Lumetri Color, and then right click, Save Preset. So let's just call it Scott Preset for the S5, for example. Press OK. Once you've saved your preset, you go over to here where it says Effects and then Presets. It's saved the preset there, Scott Preset S5. If I want to add that preset, all you have to do to a new clip, for example, you just go click and drag that preset and let go on the footage, and it's done. And it's the same for audio. So if you've added any audio effects, if I want to add an EQ, I would grab the 10-band graphic equalizer, put that on this clip, and then it would show up here on effects controls. You click all of your audio adjustments, right click, save preset, Scott Audio, for example, boom, and then it comes up here. So if I want to add that audio preset, I just click and drag it onto there, and as you can see, it's been put in there for me. But then what you can do is go on New Presets bin, if you want to be nice and organized like I'd try to be, and press New Presets bin, and then name it whatever you want, Scott Presets, and then you can just drag your presets that you've made into Scott's presets, and it tidies it up nicely. When you're searching, you could go on Scott and it'll bring up the presets there they are, and then you just go, right, S5, boom, there we go, and everything is done. Nice. So, I hope these tips have helped. Hopefully I've not waffled on for too long and it all makes sense. I'm trying to condense it so I'm not overloading you with information on the first go, but if you do want any more tips, just let me know. I've got a bunch of videos on Premiere Pro keyboard shortcuts, so if you want like the full list of the shortcuts, go and check that out. I'm sure Scott will link it up for you. Thanks, Scott, for asking me to help. I hope you get on alright with Premiere Pro. If you want to pull your hair out, just give me a ring and let me know if you need any help, and I'll try my best. I think that's it.
That is absolute gold dust. Thank you so much, Sam, for helping out with this video and taking the time to go into so much detail around these little tips as well around the basics of Premiere Pro. It is hugely appreciated. Hopefully it helps you out if you are learning how to use Premiere Pro as well. I think I am actually going to give Premiere Pro a go and just learn my basics and learn my way around it and get to grips with it a little bit more. I'm not sure it will ever fully replace Final Cut Pro for me because I am so used to Final Cut Pro and I can edit nice and quickly in there. However, I do think it is important to know just the basics of another piece of software because, for example, if you are collaborating with someone on a video, chances are you need to be working in the same piece of software, and a lot of the time that might be Adobe Premiere Pro because it is so popular. So even if you know your way around one piece of software, maybe it is Final Cut Pro, Premiere, DaVinci, or any other video editing software, if you know how to use it so well, try pushing yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit and learning something new, because that is only gonna help your video editing in the future. So that is it for this video. Hopefully it helps you out if you are also learning the basics of Premiere Pro like myself. Thank you again to Sam for helping out with this video. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel, and I shall see you all very soon in another video.